Web page grids provide a structure that guides users and designers alike. Because of their consistent reference point, grids make page readability and scannability and allow users to quickly get where they need to go on the page or screen. In this video, I'll talk about what makes up a grid and common grid types. Before we get into the common grid types that are used in websites and interfaces, let's take a look at what makes up a grid structure. The grid is made up of 3 elements: columns, gutters, and margins. Columns take up most of the real estate in a grid. Elements and content are placed in columns. To adapt to any screen size, column widths are generally defined with percentages rather than fixed values, and the number of columns will vary. So, for example, a grid on a mobile device might have 4 columns, and a grid on a desktop might have 12 columns. Gutters are the spaces between columns that separates elements and content from different columns. Gutter widths are fixed values but can change based on different breakpoints. For example, wider gutters are appropriate for larger screens, whereas smaller gutters are appropriate for smaller screens, like mobile. Then we have margins. Margins refer to the left and right outermost areas on the screen. Content does not live in the margins of a grid. This space can be fixed or expressed as a percentage of the screen width and can change at different breakpoints. Now that we understand what makes up a grid, let's get into the common grid types. There are 3 common grid types used in websites and interfaces: the column grid, the modular grid, and the hierarchical grid. The column grid involves dividing a page into vertical columns, and UI elements and content are then aligned to these columns. In this example from ritual.com, 4 consistently sized columns make up the grid structure, and elements are aligned to and within these columns. Modular grids extend the column further by adding rows to it. This intersection of rows and columns make up modules to which elements and content are aligned. Modular grids are great for e-commerce and listing pages, as rows are repeatable to accommodate browsing. If we take a look at this example from Behance, we can see that the site uses a modular grid to create a pleasant browsing experience. At this size, rows are made up of 4 consistently sized modules. Gutters visually separate each element. And lastly, the hierarchical grid. In this grid, content is organized by importance using columns, rows, and modules. The most important element and pieces of content take up the biggest pieces of the grid, while less important elements take up less space on the grid. In this example from the New York Times, a hierarchical grid is used to create a newspaper-like reading experience. At this size, 2 main columns make up the grid. The most important story takes up the most space in the grid, the left column, followed by secondary and tertiary stories, which take up the smaller column and modules on the right. Grids not only provide designers a structure to base layouts on, but they also provide readability and scannability for end users.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of our UX videos, take a look at these over here and consider subscribing to our channel. On our website, nngroup.com, you can access our free library of over 2,000 articles. You can also register for one of our UX courses that offer live, hands-on UX training.